You must have seen a lot of content on how to make your CV for the dream job. In this video, I'll tell you what not to do, and that too with examples. Hi guys, my name is Arushi and I have 6+ years of work experience working in startups across India and Dubai. And with this channel, I want to help you kickstart your career as a PM. So before we start this video, a quick preview on what it'll really be. I asked a few of you to share your CVs with me that I can then review. In this video, I'll go through a few of them and try to showcase what you should and should not do while making your CV. And guys, make sure you stick till the end of the video, because I will also share how to convert a non-product CV to a CV relevant for a product manager job as well. So without further ado, let's get the ball rolling. Starting with CV number 1. This resume is a perfect example of the format that you must use in your resume. You will notice that the format is very creative and pretty. It is also quite comprehensive in terms of the headers it uses. For example, it uses headers like coursework, interests, hobbies, etc. However, due to this comprehensive nature of the CV, it has also become a 2-pager. While I wouldn't tell you that you absolutely have to stick to a pager, however, I would definitely recommend that you stick to 1 page of CV for every 10 years of experience in your career. Guys, you need to understand that whoever is reading the CV does not have a lot of time to spend on it. So the important points should jump out and jump out soon. Another thing to note here, guys, is the redundancies. You would notice that there's a repetition in terms of the career timeline and then the key result areas. They could definitely be clubbed into one section so as to save space and reduce redundancies. One CV that I found absolutely perfect with respect to the format is this one. This CV mentions the contact details at the top, and quite precisely at that. It also gives a sufficient enough space for work experience. And one thing to note as well is that the font size is perfect. It's neither too big that it takes the content to 2 pages, nor too small that it is not readable on a mobile screen. So this is on format. Let's look at content now. In terms of the content, I feel the profile summary mentioned at the top of the resume is quite crisp, and it brings out the key content required for the recruiter quite clearly. While we are at the topic of content, I'd like to share this CV as well. This CV mentions a lot of interesting points on the organizations that the candidate worked on. However, it fails to contextualize the experience for the reader. As a reader, I may or may not know what the company they worked for does. So it becomes really hard for me to understand or appreciate the points that they have mentioned in the CV. Another thing that the candidate has failed to do is to contextualize his own role in the organization. Right now, I'm not even sure what his role was in the organization while reading the CV. A CV that did this well is the next one. This CV mentioned very clearly what is the company that he works for and what it does. The candidate has also brought out what he was doing. Points like leading retention or activation makes it easy for me to understand what his role in the organization was. While contextualizing the company and your role in it is important, another thing to clearly contextualize is the achievements that you had in the organization. The format used by this candidate places achievements separately from the work experience. This makes it very hard for the reader to understand which achievement is linked to which work experience. However, the next CV solves for it pretty well. This candidate plugged in the achievements under the work experience itself, thereby making it easy for me to understand what each achievement is really linked to. Like I've been repeating, it should be very easy for the reader to go through your CV, and the skills that he's looking out for should stand out very clearly. If the reader has to spend any mental capacity in trying to understand your points, then you can never be sure what message really gets communicated. And guys, you have to be in control of what story your CV portrays. Otherwise, we never know what the reader really understands. Talking about stories, the most important story that your CV has to demonstrate is of your work experience. This CV here, while it brings out the achievements and the roles that the candidate played, it does not put it across as a story, as a holistic picture of what the candidate was doing. A good story would have been that, hey, this is my role, this is what I did there, and this is the achievements that I had while doing it. A good way of presenting your story is actually covered by this candidate. This candidate has mentioned his achievements, and then he's gone about telling us what all he did to achieve his success. Another good thing that this candidate has done is to contextualize his actions to the organization as well. For example, in one of the points he says that he scaled the supply from 20 to 100. This shows that he brought about a change of 5x, which is definitely applaudable. So this is about how to format your CV and how to contextualize your content for your reader. Quick summary: the format should ideally be one pager for every 10 years of experience, and it should not have any redundancies in content. Now, like I promised initially, I also want to help those with non-product experience translate their experience in a way where it starts becoming relevant to a product management profile. For that, let's look at this candidate's profile. One applaudable thing that this candidate has done is that he's tried to bring about how his experience is relevant to a product management experience, because he's done the same things that a product manager does, like working with cross-functional teams or trying to work with data, etc. However, one critical point where he has failed is to show the business impact of his work. His points are primarily about what he did, but not about what impact they created. He could have re-articulated this point like this: I increased productivity by X%, which helped resolve customer problems and improved overall NPS by Y%. One candidate that did this comparatively better was this one. One call out: the CV is definitely too verbose and the candidate needs to remove certain redundant content out of it. However, for the purpose of the point that I wanted to make, see the second line. He has clearly articulated the impact of his work and what he did to bring it about. To bring out his product centricity, he has also written this point which shows what product he created and what impact it had. However, this CV also does not do it that well. Like, I see a lot of points where he mentions the work he did and not the impact that it created. Like, for example, this point that he puts across on following SDLC. Be careful, guys. You need to not just show what work you did, but also show what impact it created. By the way, another thing while we are on the topic of SDLC, please don't use abbreviations in your CV which might be used in your organization but might not be more universally known. So guys, I'm repeating myself over here. An ideal CV tries to bring about what work you did and what impact it created. I've also done another video on how to write perfect CVs. I've linked to that over here. This video, I've also shown my CV to help you understand how to build a good one. So guys, this is it for this video. I hope it helped you to understand what you should and should not do while making your own CV. Please comment below if you have any more questions or any thoughts on this. I'm extremely grateful to each of you who shared their CV with me for review. Guys, I will personally reach out to you and share a more detailed feedback on each of your CVs. Finally, please like and subscribe this channel if you found it useful, and please share this video with your friends who are sailing through the same boat as you. I'll see you next time. Ta-da!